If I handed you a single $100 bill right now, how far could you go with it? A meal in New York? Maybe a tank of gas. But somewhere else, that same bill might buy you a week of sunsets, a room by the sea, and 3 hot meals a day. It's strange, isn't it? The same money, worth so much in one place, almost nothing in another. So where does $100 still mean freedom? Where can you travel, explore, and actually live on the cost of a single city dinner? Today, we're going to find out. We'll chase that $100 bill across mountains, markets, beaches, and borders to discover the cheapest, most beautiful countries on Earth. And finally answer the question, how far can a single $100 bill really take you around the world? The $100 begins its journey in a place where the air is thin, the mountains pierce the clouds, and the definition of wealth has nothing to do with what's in your wallet. Here, money can't buy you status. It buys you silence, altitude, and awe. Our first stop is Nepal, a country that teaches you that simplicity, not extravagance, is what makes life feel full. In Kathmandu, a $100 bill can stretch farther than the horizon. $25 buys you a warm bed in a tea house, a hot meal of rice and lentils, and the company of strangers who will soon feel like family. The streets hum with the rhythm of devotion, monks chanting, prayer wheels spinning, the scent of butter lamps mingling with dust. It's chaotic, alive, and unforgettable. But just a bus ride away, the chaos fades into silence. In the Himalayas, the world becomes smaller and somehow grander. You trek for hours through air so thin it stings your lungs, and yet every breath feels pure. At sunset, the sky bleeds orange and gold across snow peaks that look too perfect to be real. And the realization dawns. This isn't a trip you pay for. It's a journey you earn. By the time that $100 runs out, you haven't bought luxury. You've bought peace. But the $100 doesn't stay in the mountains for long. It rolls down the valleys, crosses borders, and finds itself surrounded by noise. The kind that smells of chili, smoke, and something sizzling in a pan. In Vietnam, every dollar turns into a taste. The $100 lands in Hanoi, where the city wakes to the hiss of boiling broth. Street vendors stir steaming bowls of pho that cost less than your morning coffee back home. For $10, you can board a train that snakes through rice paddies so green they seem painted on. Children wave as you pass. The air smells like rain and adventure. In Hoi An, lanterns drift on rivers like floating stars. In Ha Long Bay, limestone giants rise from mist like ancient spirits. This is where your $100 buys not luxury but abundance, food, movement, color, and connection. It's proof that living richly doesn't require riches. Vietnam doesn't just feed you, it fills you. From the crowded markets of Hanoi, the $100 drifts south, chasing the horizon, chasing warmth. It hops a flight, crosses the equator, and lands where the ocean meets volcanoes. In a nation of islands that looks like it was designed by the gods themselves. In Indonesia, the $100 becomes an explorer. Here it buys freedom, not possessions. Skip the luxury resorts, head for Lombok, Flores, or Java. For a few dollars, you can rent a scooter and ride past jungles, humming with sick days through rice fields that stretch to the sea. Volcanoes rumble in the distance. The air tastes like salt and smoke. In small villages, locals invite you in, and not to sell you something, but to feed you something. A plate of fried rice. A smile that lingers longer than the flavor. Every sunrise feels earned, every meal feels shared. You can spend your days diving coral reefs, your nights sleeping under mosquito nets, and still, your wallet feels untouched. Because in Indonesia, paradise doesn't come with a price tag. It comes with gratitude. From the snowcaps of Nepal to the streetlights of Vietnam to the sunsets of Indonesia, the same $100 bill has already lived 1,000 lives. It's bought peace, flavor, and freedom. 3 things money was never meant to buy, but our journey is far from over. Because as that $100 drifts west, the world begins to change. The prices rise, the pace slows, and we find new kinds of value in places that look like postcards, yet remain astonishingly affordable. Next stop, where Europe's charm meets a backpacker's budget. Our story continues in Albania. The secret Europe has somehow kept to itself. Between the Adriatic and Ionian Seas lies a coastline that looks like Greece, but costs like nowhere else. For $40 a day, the same 100 bill buys you 2 nights in a seaside guest house, fresh Mediterranean meals, and enough history to fill a library. In Berat, the city of 1,000 windows, white Ottoman houses climb up a hillside like dominoes frozen in motion. In Ksamil, the sea changes color with the sun, turquoise at noon, sapphire by dusk. There are no cruise ships here, no crowded promenades, just local fishermen, slow afternoons, and beaches so quiet you can hear your own thoughts. Albania feels like the Europe we lost, the intimate, unfiltered, and endlessly generous. But our $100 isn't done exploring. It crosses the sea, hops continents, and lands somewhere that moves to the rhythm of drums and laughter. A country reborn, colorful, and alive. In Colombia, $100 buys more than days. It buys memories that dance. Cartagena's streets explode with color. Pastel balconies, street musicians, and the smell of arepa frying on the corner. For less than $35 a day, you can live inside a postcard, sleep in colonial courtyards, sip coffee fresh from the hills of Salento, and ride buses that sway through landscapes painted with clouds. Every corner of Colombia hums with life. In Medellin, cable cars glide above neighborhoods once marked by fear, now full of art, gardens, and pride. On the Caribbean coast, waves crash against beaches as bright as the music spilling from beach bars. Colombia proves something simple: that happiness doesn't cost much, it just needs rhythm. From salsa beats to ocean breezes, our $100 keeps moving east again, across the Pacific, into the islands where the sun rises first. There, paradise hides in plain sight, not behind walls or resorts, but in small fishing villages and in the kindness of strangers. In the Philippines, $100 buys you something far rarer than luxury: belonging. For $40 a day, you can eat grilled seafood straight from the boats, sleep by the sea, and wake up to the sound of waves kissing the shore. There are more than 7,000 islands here, each one a different shade of blue, each one smiling back at you. In Palawan, limestone cliffs guard lagoons that look stolen from dreams. In Siargao, surfers ride waves by day and share beers by bonfire at night. In Bohol, chocolate hills melt into golden sunsets. And everywhere, laughter, warmth, and welcome. The Philippines doesn't sell paradise, so it shares it. It reminds you that beauty isn't about what you can afford, it's about how deeply you feel it. The journey of our 100 bill is almost over, but now it reaches the place where civilizations touch, where East meets West and history meets humanity. Our story begins its final arc in Turkey, where continents collide across a narrow strip of sea. In Istanbul, the $100 buys more than days, it buys centuries. For $45 a day, you can wander from the Blue Mosque to the Grand Bazaar, where merchants still trade spices and silk as they did 1,000 years ago. Breakfast here is a royal affair. Olives, cheeses, honey, bread, all for the cost of a latte back home. And when night falls, the call to prayer echoes over the Bosphorus as ferries glide between Asia and Europe. And you realize this is what travel was meant to feel like: timeless, grounded, and astonishingly human. Turkey is a living museum, and your $100 buys you a front row seat to history still unfolding. But the $100 doesn't stop where the continents meet. It climbs north, through mist and mountains, into a country small in size but immense in soul. In Georgia, the $100 buys you a welcome that money could never guarantee. This is a land where guests are treated as gifts. For $35 a day, you'll drink wine made in clay pots buried underground, eat khachapuri hot from wood-fired ovens, and sleep in family guest houses that feel like home, even on your first night. In Tbilisi, pastel balconies hang over cobbled alleys, scented with bread and smoke. In the Caucasus, monasteries sit so high they seem suspended between heaven and earth. Georgia proves that generosity is a currency stronger than gold, and it's exchanged freely here. As our $100 heads south again, it crosses a border not marked on any map. From comfort to chaos, from order to energy, into a land that feels like an entire world condensed into one. In India, the $100 bill loses its importance on it and finds its meaning. For $20 a day, you can travel through centuries. Ride a train from Delhi's marble palaces to Kerala's green backwaters, or from the deserts of Rajasthan to the foothills of the Himalayas. Street food costs less than a coin. Spicy, fragrant, unforgettable. Temples shimmer with devotion, markets overflow with color, and every street corner feels like a festival waiting to happen. India overwhelms you, humbles you, transforms you. It teaches that the richest journeys aren't measured in money or miles, but in moments that stay with you long after the journey ends. Here, your $100 doesn't buy luxury, it buys perspective. And now, as the $100 nears the end of its journey, it reaches a country that has known both heartbreak and hope. A place that redefines resilience and beauty. In Cambodia, $100 buys you time, the most precious thing of all. For $25 a day, you can watch dawn rise over Angkor Wat, the ancient temple city that once ruled half of Asia. You can wander through jungle ruins where tree roots swallow stone, or float down the Tonle Sap among villages built entirely on water. Life moves slowly here, gracefully. The people smile with a kindness that asks for nothing, even after all they've endured. Cambodia reminds you that beauty isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. And when the sunsets fade over the temples, you realize that your $100 never just bought a trip, it bought a story. So, how far can a single $100 bill really take you around the world? Far enough to stand in the shadow of Everest, taste soup simmered in the streets of Hanoi, dance on the beaches of Cartagena, and watch the sunrise over temples older than time. It can take you across oceans, through cultures, and into moments that no amount of money could ever truly buy. But maybe the better question was never how far $100 could take you, but how deeply it could change the way you see the world. Because the truth is, travel isn't about what's in your wallet. It's about what's in your mind, your heart, your curiosity. A plane ticket can move your body, but wonder moves your soul. The $100 runs out eventually. But what it buys, peace in the mountains, laughter in a market, belonging on a distant shore, that doesn't fade when the bills are gone. It becomes part of you. So next time you look at a $100 note, don't think of it as paper. Think of it as a key. A small green passport that unlocks not just new places, but new perspectives. Because in the end, it's not about how far you travel, it's about how far you feel.